boys and girls. So as you know, we have been learning a little bit about what plants need to grow healthy and survive. Similar to what we need to grow healthy and survive, they need food, they need water, and they need sun. So let's go ahead and think, because we've heard our song and our read aloud that tell us that they need these things, but how can we determine for sure that plants need sunlight and water to survive? So go ahead and just pause the video for a second, and I want you to think about some materials and steps that we could take to determine if plants need sunlight and water to survive. Alrighty, did you think of a good experiment that we can do to determine if plants need sunlight and water to survive? I'm not sure what you were thinking, but I was thinking that we could maybe test two plants that are the exact same and maybe take sunlight and water away from one of them. Is that what you were thinking? So I'm gonna go ahead and take my materials that I thought of for my experiment. Yours might be a little different. You might have different plants, but we'll take about the same steps to determine if our plants need sunlight and water to survive. So I went to the store and I found two very beautiful marigold plants, and they both have flowers and they're both doing very well so far. So they're about the same as far as health goes. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to label my plants so that I know which is which. So this one I'm going to label plant A. And this plant I'm going to use to be our plant that continues to get sunlight and water. And this plant I'm going to label plant B. And this is going to be the plant that I take the sunlight and water away from. So I am now going to measure them. So you might need a ruler or a measuring tape to see, so we can determine how tall they are to start, to see if anything changes in the next few days as we observe their growth. So I'm going to first measure plant A, and I'm going to start at the dirt and then go to the very tallest flower. And that one is almost exactly 7 inches. So I'm going to take a recording sheet that I made that has plant A and plant B, and I wrote before on both of them because we are making sure that we know that this is before we took away the sunlight and water or continued the sunlight and water. So we said plant A was about 7 inches. And now I'm going to go ahead and measure plant B real quick. Plant B, and I'm starting in the dirt again. Let's only go this side, it's better. Starting on the dirt and measuring to the very top flower. This one is about, this one's a little bit taller, 7.5 inches. So that one's already just a little bit taller, and that's why we need to make sure that we know that there's going to be some differences and how they do change. So I went ahead and recorded that. And so I want you guys to just pause the video again and think, what's going to happen when we carry out the test? I just want to hear some of your predictions. So go ahead and pause for a second, and then when we come back, I'll be ready to hear some of your predictions. All right, did you think of some good predictions? I'm not sure what's going to happen, but I'm excited to find out, and I'm excited to hear your predictions. So what I am going to do is I looked up some information about marigolds before we started, and I suggest you do the same for your plant to make sure that it's getting adequate sunlight and water for the one you're going to continue to give sunlight and water to. And marigolds love sun. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up my marigold A in a sunny spot in my backyard, and I'm going to make sure that it's getting sun and water all day. So I'm going to go ahead and set that one there in the sun. And now for my marigold B. Ooh, poor thing is going to go ahead and have to sit in my shed for the next few days. So I'm going to go ahead and put this one in my shed. And it's not going to have sun, and it's not going to have water. And what I want you guys to do is wait about 3 days. So there's my marigold B in my shed. And you're going to wait about 3 days, and you're going to continue to water marigold A, or your plant A, and keep it in the sunlight. And then I want you to leave marigold B alone for the 3 days. And after the 3 days, we're going to come back and see what happens. So I will see you guys in 3 days. Hi friends, so we are back to look and see what our plants have done since we left them for 3 days in either the shade in my shed with no water and sun, or in the sun when I was getting watered every single day. So like I said, it has been 3 days. And so I just want to first take a look. Here's my plant A. Remember, this is the one that had sun and water and was taken care of the way we know plants should be. And this is my plant B that wasn't taken care of with sun and water. So let's just do some observation and go ahead and pause the video and tell me, were your predictions correct as to what was going to happen to plant A and plant B? Good. So now, which plant looks more healthy? A or B? And why is that plant A or plant B looks more healthy than the other? You can look at the flowers too. This one has a new little bloom. This flower is dying a little bit. And so why did plant B change more than plant A did? And what were those changes? Here, if you look closely, you can see some browning on the leaves. And now go ahead and pause the video and let's brainstorm. What can we do to help plant B? What can we do to change the condition of plant B? Did you say that you thought that you could water and give this plant sunlight and then hopefully it will look just like plant A? I think so too. After this test, what do we know about how light and water affect the way that plants grow? Take a minute to think. And then I'm just going to do one last comparison. I'm going to remeasure the plants to see if any of them grew or not. So I have what they looked like before. So let's go ahead and measure plant A first. Plant A is now 9 inches. And plant B is still about 7.5 inches, almost 8 inches. I'll write 8 inches because it looks like it grew maybe a little. So let's even look at this comparison right here. So before we had plant A as 7 inches, and now it's 9 inches. It grew almost 2 inches in 3 days. And our plant B that wasn't getting sunlight and water, it was 7.5 inches before, and now it's only about 8 inches. So it only grew about 1/2 inch without sunlight and water. Let's see, what does that tell us about how light and water and how that helps plants grow? Did that confirm what we had said before? I think it did. I hope you guys enjoyed doing this, and now I hope that you can make your plant be healthy, and then you can have 2 beautiful plants or flowers to take care of this summer.